Well, this is my introduction to my YouTube channel with my car. This is my 1976 C3 Corvette. It's not exactly the most appealing thing looking at it first, but my immediate concern isn't necessarily the exterior. I'm working on just getting it going. See, I got the rally cap center hubs. I don't have the outer ring just because I prefer this of more look. It's more eye-catching than having all that extra chrome. If you look closely enough, the center ones are broken. But if you're far enough away, you can't really see that. My rear window that I put in, that blemish you see is overspray that I haven't taken off yet from trying to fill in some scratches on it because the previous owner hit it with a sanding disc or a wire wheel or something and had scratches in the glass. But we come around front. It is currently on jack stands. Does not live on jack stands. It's on them only right now just because I'm doing front work on the underside here. I took that part off and fixed it. I took off the lower valence here to fix the part of the fiberglass that was broken, and then I got a new front lip to go underneath here. But this car, when I got it, it did not run, and we can open up the driver's side door here. So the interior, as of right now, the seats are pretty bad. I'm looking to eventually get new ones of those. My door panels, this one's missing. I don't have this one. I have that one over there. They're not in the greatest shape either. And you can see that the previous owner spray painted the interior black. It doesn't look the best, and that's why I'm currently in the process of rewrapping it all in leather, as you saw in my first video. I did just get new carpet in. I replaced that center armrest because it didn't have one when I first picked it up, and then I also put in a thermal sound detonation kit to be able to avoid the heat that comes off the center trim or the tunnel in these things. The seats I eventually plan on replacing, but for now they work. They're solid, so the duct tape's just there so that way they don't peel more. But this, we pop open the trunk, or the not trunk, the hood, and if we come around the front, open this bad boy up, I have a 350 small block in this. We have a few upgrades. There was stuff that the previous owner did. He did an upgraded cam in it, lifters, and a little bit sorts in there. I'm still getting new to the whole automotive, working on this stuff, but I replaced the breather and air filter with a little bit smaller one. He had a 4-inch one in it, so I couldn't close the hood. You can see right there where he closed it and just drilled the hole through it so that way it would close. I replaced the valve covers, got new breathers on it because the other ones were Mickey Thompson ones that were cracked in a couple spots, so they're leaking pretty bad. You can see my lovely work I did to make sure air is going through the radiator so it doesn't overheat. We have a duct tape here to cover up holes so that way all the airflow is going through there. I added the mirrors. They weren't on here when I first got the car, but I got it for a killer deal, and you can see right there I had to weld that front part back on because the prior owner, it blew up on him and broke, and so that's why he gave it to me for such a steal. And you'll see when I got it, it didn't have headers, didn't have exhaust because the kid took a hacksaw to it and just cut it all up. So I have hooker competition headers, long tube, that I wrapped just to avoid any excess heat, and then I have my spark plugs going underneath wrapped in a thermal tape to keep them nice and cool because they're so close to the headers. One sketchy thing about my car, but I am working on eventually replacing it, is he put an electronic fuel pump right there. Got rid of the mechanical one that's normally right there. And he put it pretty close, but when running the car for about 45 minutes, I took an infrared thermometer gun and shot it down here, and this was only about 100 degrees. It wasn't hot enough to be any concern. But you can see, it's just your standard C3 Corvette. Slowly but surely, I'm going to be cleaning up this engine bay. My goal with this car for right now is just to get the interior to be completely supreme and to get the engine bay completely amazing, to where, you know, from afar you look at it, you're like, oh, that's a hunk of junk piece of crap. And then you look inside it, or you get closer and you're like, oh, wow, that's pretty amazing. But the thing is, I don't have the greatest mechanical experience or skills. And so I've created this YouTube channel, and my goal is to get other people motivated to work on their cars because, well, if I can do it, pretty much anybody can do it. But I am in the process right now of wrapping all the leather all the trim and everything, getting that going. And then I'm replacing all the chrome screws with new black screws, just to give it a nice cleaner look. My goal for the interior is to get it blacked out. I'm not going for a modern, or I'm going for more of a modern look, not necessarily doing a numbers matching, just because I plan on keeping this car forever. This has been my dream car since I was young. I fell in love with the C3s and Corvettes in general just when I was young, because with all my Hot Wheels, all of the other cars, they all look the same, but then you had Corvettes that was just a completely different looking car. But you can see, got the old trusty fire extinguisher right there. Always gonna have one of those when you work in the Corvettes. Some of my lights do work, some of my gauges don't, but I'm in the process of working on that, and that's a video I'll be making too. I do want to try making custom door cards, just because brand new ones on Top Flight or even eBay are $350 to $550 each, depending on the trim level you get. But let's see if she fires up. She's been sitting for about a week. Yep, fired right up. This is probably the greatest noise in the world to wake up to in the morning. Something in my engine bay was hitting there, so it sounded like probably the shroud. You can see the good old C3 thing, be able to shut it. I gotta lift it up there. Yeah, you can see with the Corvette flipped up right now, that was, or with the front end jacked up, it is actually putting pressure right there. Sorry, right there. So that's where that was nicking. But yeah, this is my Corvette. Pretty much everything on this thing works for the most part. It is a learning process, but you can see for my seal here, I bought the kit off of Top Flight, and it didn't come out when you put it on. It was just a butyl rubber strip, and it wasn't exactly flat here. So then I took some black silicone all weather, put it on here, and then I'm going to come through here eventually with a razor, get that cleaned up and everything. Both doors work though, all the locks work. You can see my nice rearview mirror here. And you can see that side of that center console trim's broke. I have a brand new one I bought from Top Flight on Black Friday. I got quite the package come in from Black Friday. I have no radio in here, no speakers in here. The previous owner took a pair of scissors to everything, chopped it all up. So I will be making a video of me wiring my own set together, because that'll be a fun first for me. I did not like shutting there. But yeah, this is my Corvette. It'll be the main staple of my channel for a long time, unless I get enough of everything going and get a shop and I can get another project car. Most likely that would be like a C10 or like a 70s Ford F-150. I love those. But my windows work on both sides. They are the power windows. I actually have the early model of the Corvette. Didn't understand that there was an earlier late model, and I wish I would have known that prior to buying, just because the early model is a little bit of a pain in the butt to find stuff for. But I figured that out because I went to go buy a shroud for this thing, and I put it in a 76, and then all of a sudden it popped up and it was like, well, did you give an early or late model? And I had to do a bunch of research to figure that out. But show you the underside of the Corvette. There's some rust. You can see some patch job there of the under there, this floor pans, because they rusted a little bit. But it is definitely gonna be a working project. But it does drive. It's a blast drive. It rips. It has a lot of power to it and everything. Things though I've all done to it is I've put the mirrors on. I got the new rear mirror. I redid the whole front suspension. Had that part welded on. I have put the full exhaust on. I've replaced all the bulbs in all the corners with new hetero Holley retrofit lights. So they're all nice and bright. My headlights do not pop up on their own. That is a vacuum system issue I got to figure out. But as you saw, my engine bay is a little bit of a mosh pit because of the previous owner. Other pros about this car is there isn't very much rust to it. Even though it's an Oregon-bound car, the only thing that's really rusted out are my floor bands. But I was able to patch those up and fix them enough to put the sound deadener down and the carpet down, so those won't be an issue. But the bird cage and everything else is pretty nice and pretty straightforward. But this is my car. If you guys have any comments or any tips, tricks, please leave a comment. I love to read them. I love to learn. You can see my hood. I got to figure out the alignment issue there. I'm missing all my badges. Fiberglass is cracked. It's going to be a fun project. But as always, have a good day. Thank you so much.